Hey there, StarCraft fans! It's Falcon Paladin coming at ya with yet another edition of StarCraft Brood War Remastered. And today it's going to be Idra versus G5 here on Destination 1.1. We have very special guests with us today. It's got In Control, Louder, and LZ Gamer commentating in the comments. Well, in the chat right up here. So, top left-hand corner of Destination, we have the Red Terran player. It is Idra. Everybody knows him, the American Red Terran player Idra. And in the bottom right-hand corner, it's the Teal Protoss player G5, also American here. So this is from, by golly, 2008, I want to say 2009, somewhere along those lines, because it is a very old replay. Neither of these players really compete competitively anymore. But they are definitely here for this game, definitely competing, and this is Destination. Very straightforward, top to bottom map here. We've got a natural base that's fairly easy to take. Third base is along the left side, possibly the right side too. They are islands. You can defend them because of the ramps that are leading up to them. Big open area here. That's really, really good for tanks to set up and try to gain some map control. And then really sneaky pocket expansions, which are back down here. So it's just minerals only, so you don't have to worry about a player taking a quick third down there with gas, but still very easy to hold on to and therefore pretty fantastic. All right, so let's go ahead and get our diplomacy back to hiding the map and let the fog of war commence. All right, man, so Idra's known for his rage. He is one of those players that just cannot help typing something angry into chat when he wins or loses. It's kind of what made Idra special. And for those of you comparing Idra to current players today, I don't know that there's anybody as ragey as Idra is that's as good as Idra is. Idra was a legitimate StarCraft Brood War player. There are some people playing StarCraft 2 today, especially, who are not nearly as good as he was, that are also ragey. It's just not the same thing. I mean, we'll pay attention to you once you reach pro level, but until you're there, I don't know, man. Look at this gas steal, though. Look at G5 gas stealing Idra. That's something you can do, right? If you can tilt your opponent in the early stages of the game, throw them off their game, make them upset in the first 2 minutes, you can actually build on that and win games that way. It's not sometimes, not always that straightforward, okay? But honestly, if you can get there early, don't let them get to their benchmarks. Don't let them just macro up. Don't let them do the build they're planning on doing. Force them to respond to it in some way, and you'll be in a pretty good spot. Is he going to steal it again? Nope, can't do. Louder, I don't know. Louder was talking about a previous game, saying he should have followed his gut and made hidden carriers that game instead of going arbiters. I don't know, man. I don't know if this is some kind of a like a show match where you play against other players and the people who don't get selected to play this match chat to each other. But I watched this replay to the end a little bit just because I needed to know if it worked. For these older replays, it's really, really hard for me to trust that they're actually going to work past the 15 or 20 minute mark. Too many I've loaded up are just broken. And what happens is that like the scripting, the AI that's in there just stops working. You see SCVs pile up down here. You see armies sitting in their bases doing nothing. The money in the bank increases exponentially. It's very sad. There's an amazing one with Boxer where he was supposed to do lockdown on like 16 battle cruisers, and it was like a top time, like incredible moment in all of StarCraft Brood War, and that replay is busted. I was so sad about it. There's another replay too that I said I was going to find with G5. Where G5 actually won a game against Zerg with scouts. Found that replay too, and about 15-20 minutes it died. So, it's very frustrating, but that's what I get for casting some older replays from a bit of an older game these days. Sometimes the replays are not as consistently awesome as I'd like them to be. But hey, what do? You do your best. That's what you do. So nothing too crazy happening. Both players have gotten their expansions or are working them at this stage of the game. We are producing nothing but Marines at this point. Factory done now. Like I'm going to go ahead and start with that machine shop and throw up another factory. So definitely, obviously it's going to be mech. That's what you do against Protoss and TVP. That's how you win. So we'll see how G5 manages to get this thing going. What he's going to do to deal with mech. Because we've seen different players try to work with it, and it's a struggle. Sometimes. AL's Lazy Gamer is back. I don't know where he went, but he's back apparently. End Control's been a little bit quiet here, but that's okay. And there's your third baseman. Wow. G5 going for a quick third here. Sub 5 minutes along this left side. Very wide open ramp. that can be sieged here by tanks, pushed up with Marines too. That is gutsy. That is a gutsy third to take. This SCV really cannot scout it. I don't think G5 can allow that to happen. And in fact, he kills the SCV, so the only thing that's close to being able to scout that thing is dead now, which is really a massive, massive victory for G5. Quick plug also for the Falcon Paladin merch store. There's a link in the description. Just Falcon Paladin at Shopify. You can get hats and jackets and mugs and all sorts of crazy stuff with the Falcon Paladin logo. If you want something along those lines, you can also find the Falcon Paladin Hour, a weekly podcast where I talk about StarCraft, mostly StarCraft 2, but also different nerdy things, video games that are coming up, TV shows, movies, books, and things like that. So search Falcon Paladin in your podcast app today and find the Falcon Paladin Hour. Additionally, hit that like button, hit that subscribe if you enjoy my casts. I know a lot of you guys are coming back time after time, all 3 of my Brood War casts per week. You guys are all about that stuff. So hit that subscribe so you can be notified when they're popping. I am considering going to 4 a week. It's a struggle, you guys. I'm already posting 8 videos a week on my channel, which is a lot of content, but it is split between StarCraft 2 and Brood War. So we will see. We'll see how that goes. There was somebody who was like, I'll support you on Patreon if you up to 4 Brood War videos a week. And I was like, ugh. Maybe if enough of you can do that. Anyway, Marines and tanks here versus Dragoons. Trying to kill the tanks and actually doing a pretty good job of it, but losing all of these Dragoons in the process. Tanks down. Dragoons still alive. Dang, they took a lot of punishment before they went down. That was fantastic. Idra's like, oh, crap. I have to show up with my siege with no tanks. That's not going to be a good time at all. And these are slow vultures, man. Slow vultures. Spider-Mine does take down one of these Dragoons. These Dragoons actually picking off vultures that are cruising up on that way. And now the probes are forced to be pulled in this situation. I'm not sure that you need to be doing that, as it looks like the Dragoons are holding it on their own quite well. Again, trading out against vultures, pretty easy. Trading out against tanks, a much more difficult scenario. Oh, and the Spider-Mine. Look at that one burrowing back down. He's like, oh, my job is done. No problem. We are good. Okay, well, Idra, I was all tabbed. Says EG Lauder, I was gone, I guess. These vultures are so slow. It's like they're broken. But they work. Eventually. And yeah, that third base just gets absolutely rocked there. That was brutal. That was brutal stuff for sure. More tanks, more vultures showing up here. Third base is toast. It was greedy. Telling you it was greedy, and as a result, it was punished. But guess who got up here with some Dragoons? Oh, G5 did. G5 is wandering into this natural. There's nothing to stop the death of these SCVs. Get out of there, SCVs. Run. Pull. Get on out. Hold the ramp with SCVs and vultures if you can. At least the vultures have speed now, which is kind of cool, but your natural base is forced to be lifted off. We've got a tank and a vulture on the other side of the map right now, firing at everything else. This natural base, I think the command center is going to die. At the very least, it's going to be burning, and it's going to have to float back around. I don't know if it has the time for it. Oh, hang on. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's not, actually. Either way, tank back here is having a great time. Just bam! Launching on these Dragoons, but severely outnumbered at this point. He's got 3 kills, but he is going to die. Dragoons locking down Idra's third base. And it's gone. So we're effectively 3-basing it to 2-base right now, which is really bad for Idra, and really exactly what G5 needs to be doing here. And again, what it seems like you have to do to beat a Terran player in a PvT, and even Flash, is just out macro them. You have to have more stuff. You just have to throw units at their army, keep their tank count low, sacrifice tanks for them, you guys. Meanwhile, vultures are wandering around inside G5's base. That's really bad news, Bears. Did he lose all? He transferred all of his probes to the natural because this is just a bloodbath. And then on the other side, we've got Dragoons picking off tanks. Brr. That high ground miss is really playing a big deal here. Don't attack up this ramp. Don't you do it. Man, he's doing it. He's attacking up the ramp. Losing everything in the process. Oh, actually going after the observatory, the vultures are. That's very interesting. Still coming up. G5. G5. I do not know what to be telling you right now. And yeah, like the tanks are getting repaired. That's not going to work out for you. Meanwhile, you have absolutely got to clear these vultures out. The speed does seem slow, but that's too fast, and that's just the next level down. Oh, In Control is doing the dishes, but he's back now. The G5 Bulldog. Does Bulldog just mean trying to go up a ramp where there's a million tanks? Well, the natural base is alive. That's a fantastic job by Idra, keeping that alive for the time being. And are we back to saturating the main base a little bit here? I wish I could tell how many probes have been killed because I feel like it's a lot. But, oh no, the vultures are fast. I don't know, man. Speed on these older replays can be a little bit weird. I saw somebody comment on a previous video that the speed seemed a little bit off, and I'm with you on that. I don't know if it's the old... Maybe it's back. Maybe it had to go down and up again. Or up and down again in speed, and everything would be fine. But Idra's taking a third base behind this. A second ago, he was 1 base to 3 base of G5, and now he's back on 3 bases. And he's totally fine. That is actually a great comeback here. In Control's talking about Idra here, because Idra's name is Greg. Let's see what he has to say. He will not learn to scout expansions. No, he did. Normal players wouldn't be expanding right now, but G5 is, man. G5 is an expander. Look at him. He's got his 4th base on the right side. That's amazing stuff. He's basically saying Idra refuses to learn how to scout G5's expansions because G5 plays non-standard, and Idra's just not accommodating to that at all. Although, coming on in is a vulture drop. Might have spotted that. I'm not entirely sure, but the Dragoons are responding to this just a little bit. But man, are they just going right after these probes? Oh, never mind. They want to fight the Dragoons a little bit too. Come on, control. Control here, Idra. You got this thing. Just focus down. Vultures give me nightmares, says Mr. Louder. We're going to try to censor the language a little bit here for everybody at home, but I understand most of you guys don't care, but some of you do. Anyway, vultures give everybody nightmares, says LZ Gamer. Lazy Gamer. Hey, a Wraith is out. A Wraith is here to shut down this shuttle. That's beautiful. Holy crap, making a Wraith in a PvT. Who'da thunk it? Who'da thunk it would be good? Vultures are cost efficient. That's true, man. They are super cost efficient. They're fast. They absolutely destroy probe lines and drone lines and whatnot. The speed really is what makes them fantastic, is the ability to be fast with them. They're trying to sneak down this right side, but the army positioning in great positions. My golly. Yeah, get on out of there. Great job by the Dragoons here from G5, but we got some balance whining coming here. Idra does sneak that 3rd base. It's up. It's happily running. That's a good thing for him for sure. But he is still down 4 bases to 3 bases right now. Yeah, man, this conversation is kind of keeping me company a little bit. Vultures, oh my gosh, more probes going down. The number of probes killed in this game is 47 million. It's so many dead probes. That cannon either got canceled or killed too. All the vultures are going to die because they insist on fighting these Dragoons instead of escaping, but I think that was a pretty effective trade there from Idra. Absolutely. 115 to 114 supply right now. The tank count is getting insane. We're going for vultures too with Charon boosters. I don't know if he's preparing for... Is he preparing for carriers? I don't see any Stargates at all from G5. Like 0% Stargates in this game. It's just not a thing whatsoever. But yeah, G5's army is pretty big right now. But it's 125 to 120 supply. That's a lot of tanks from Idra. Attacking into the natural is going to be suicide with this number of Dragoons. 100% for sure. But what are the upgrades on our friends, these Dragoons? +1 attack. Fantastic. Tanks are at +1 too, so we're keeping pace with upgrades here in this American versus American battle. G5 is good, says Lazy Gamer, with map control. He is actually doing a pretty good job here, catching out vultures and killing them and picking off these spider mines and making sure they're not that huge of a problem there. And bam, look at that surround. The surround and control there. Out of G5. I'm liking it. I think he's playing better here than he was versus Demaga in that game last week. But I like to see it. I do like to see this stuff out of players where it seems like they get better over time, they learn, It was on this base, too, and he's just doing a better job. He's got defense. He's out and about with the Dragoons, staying alive. Maybe he's more comfortable with PvT than he is for PvZ, and maybe Damaga is just a much better player than he is, but he did not look this good versus Damaga. And, I mean, in fairness, absolutely, Damaga is a better player than G5, but it was a pretty good game nevertheless. All right, man, so again, the goal here is trying to keep that tank count down, but you can't keep the tank count down if Idra just keeps sitting them in his natural like this. It's kind of genius out of him, actually. Still continuing to push up against these vultures, clearing out spider mines. The spider mine count is not all that high. Oh, gosh. Well, there's a couple of Dragoons go down there, unfortunately. And is he just clearing out... He's just clearing out spider mines with Dragoons, which is hilarious. Yeah, it's a lot of tanks, Louder. Look at this. Look at this tank count. I can't even select all. Oh, some of them are unsieged. So it's unsieged versus sieged here. Good gravy. Good gravy. Louder hates tanks. Oh, dang it, Louder. 2 minutes before Terran moves out. G5 throws down some gates. Yep. I guess his name's Eric. Spoiler alert. G5's name is Eric here. Look how In Control calls them by their first names. It's hilarious. Oh, I think they killed a Kakaru there. Maybe by accident, maybe intentionally, but G5's taking this bottom left-hand base as well. 157 to 161 supply. He's going Arbiters. That's real good. Going for Zealot legs. That's real good too, but I don't see any sign of switching over to Sky, which the number of tanks here, I just don't know. God, I just don't know. This is so many siege tanks sitting up right here. EMP being researched by Idra too. Upgrades on these guys are +2 attack. The Dragoons sitting on +1 themselves. Working on +2, but it's not quite here yet. About 40% complete and on the way. So 3 basing Terran with a bajillion siege tanks. Moving out very slowly, sieging forward, trying to get high ground positions here. I'm liking it, man. I'm liking the high ground positions for sure here. We're expanding. That makes sense, Idra. Good job expanding here on the left side for your 4th. Again, you are not doing very well economically compared to your opponent here, Eric. Or G5, but he does have the Stargates, obviously, because he's making Arbiters, but I don't see the fleet beacon. For Carrier, he has a lot of gateways, though. Holy crap, he has a lot of gateways. So he's maxed out. And this is where things get interesting. Compositions make sense. Louder talking about some trip he's going on. I don't know why. And expanding again is G5. He's such an aggressive expander. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 bases? Good grief. 6 bases here against the 4 of Idra. Once again, Vulture's trying to have map control here, trying to focus down these probes with the cannons, rocking them. There's the cloak, though. He brings in the cloak, kind of. It's not cloaking enough of the probes, I don't think. But all the Vultures die anyway. I love this soundtrack so much. Alright. Idra is just, he's turtle terraning so very, very hard. This is so many siege tanks. You can't break this with Dragoons. He's trying to sneak up this way and see if there's a base he can kill, but no, man, Idra has not expanded up there at all. But so many Arbiters. He just keeps pumping them out. Keeps pumping out the Arbiters, keeps going for attack upgrades, making another Stargate. That guy is warping over here on the right side. And we are just really, really passively hanging out here. Idra has not really been pressuring at all. He got in here into the 4th base a little bit, or the quick 3rd base a little bit. Yeah, man, G5 Is at 5,000 minerals, 1,500 gas right now. The guys talking about their love lives, I think. Perhaps just one of them. I don't know. Have not been reading the chat all that much. Stasis in production, or recall rather, in production. We already have stasis. Small engagement over here, but it's just not working out, man. Not working out for him. Got a stasis down on 3 or 4 of the tanks, but there are still like 6. So it's not happening, man. Saw a pro game recently where the Protoss timed it. He started making carriers at 170. 4 carriers specifically. And Louder's going to try to do that. 8 High Templar in production. Perhaps Storm will do it. But Idra finally moving out, finally starting to set up in positions a little bit far away, or is he just securing another base? He might just be securing bases here. Just incredibly, incredibly passive Terran play. I don't think I've seen this level of passivity out of a Terran in a long, long time. Pushing up, G5, feeling like this is his moment. He's going to move on up here. Oh, I forgot I can't do that. Attacking into this tank line. Some of these tanks are not sieged. Other ones are. Storms along the right side here. Tanks on the high ground getting shots off there too. It is a bloodbath of an engagement. No! Do not go in there. Ah! The cloak is real good. Ooh, now that the science vessel is stasis, not providing detection. But the Arbiter is not long for this world and does get wrecked by our Terran boosted Goliaths. So +3 attack on those guys. Oh, the +3 ground vehicle is so good. And Idra's got it, man. Here at the 21-minute mark. No problem. And, oh no, G5 snuck a base back here. He's warping in an Nexus on Idra's side of the map at the sneaky pocket expand. That's some incredible stuff. All right, this base is in trouble, lads. 2 tanks showing up. They will get cleaned out, as they're not really supported by much. At the time, oh, stasis on the Goliath, so no one else can come up this ramp. Trying to get some Zealots down there, but there are too many Vultures and too many Spider Mines. High Templar getting rocked by Spider Mines there too, which is not good. It's trying to storm. That's a beautiful storm on those Vultures. Good grief. That was amazing. It is an incredible position, I think, that G5 finds himself in here. Oh, but taking High Templar into siege tank lines. Okay, well, 6 carriers are on the way now. We're working on interceptor capacity +4. You definitely have to have that upgrade if you're going to be playing StarCraft. And going to be making carriers. Archon trying to fight. Nope. Defensive Matrix Goliath here, which is hilarious. 196 to 155. Holy crap. Attacking on in. Got our Goliaths versus cannons. With that +3 attack, they're going to do pretty well for themselves. They also do have the +2 armor, which is really nice too. Tanks setting up. I think this right side base by G5 is toast and complete and finito and kaput. Kaput. Anything else going on the map? Not really. I mean, G5 is trying to push up this left side a little bit, maybe trying to save this base, but it's too late for that, man. This base is a toast. Some pretty good storms. I mean, the High Templar are getting killed, but at least they're getting some damage off before that happens. Idra pushing down. Oh, and setting up at that choke right now. G5 is having a really hard time versus these Goliaths and versus these tanks. The carriers do find these tanks that were sent off unsupported by Idra down this right side to try to shut down the 4th base of G5, but the base does go down. These probes are not making it home, despite the fact that the carriers are taking out the tanks. Oh, man. Whap, 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 whap. Oh, the probes go down before the tank is out. We've got a tank line wandering through this base and trying to take this one down too. So simultaneous tank attacks while sieging up on this 3rd right now. This game is crazy at the moment. Lot of tanks causing major problems. Are the probes going to try to fight against these tanks? They are not. Oh, they are. No, they're not. What is going on? Oh, maybe one is, sort of. 2 of them are thinking about it. Meanwhile, carriers attacking up the right side. There are missile turrets randomly placed for this particular reason. And finally, the Zealots do clean out these tanks that are coming down the left side towards that pocket expansion that G5 has. Meanwhile, this is still alive, you guys. These probes need to get mining, but still alive. Carriers pushing on out. 8 Goliaths at a time in production for Idra. In response here. And taking some body shots from these +3 Goliaths, too. The carriers are forced to flee from that location. Zealots attacking up the left side into a million tanks, though. Holy crap, that tank line is kind of insane. Don't be doing it, man. Commenting on the bank the players are running. Idra's on 1,000 minerals, 3,000 gas, maxed out, 2,200 for G5, not maxed out. His gas income is pretty unhealthy, actually, and losing these 2 bases has not really helped with that at all, either. Losing 2 sources of gas income and a third if you count the one on this right side. Oh, okay, well, trying to expand over here. Idra, no, not allowed. Carriers shut that down. I still can't believe this is here. Alright, man. Zealot, Dragoon, Carrier trying to deal with this tank line. Shouldn't have a problem with it at all. Army from the south here. Idra's not quite sure what to do with himself right now. Tanks unsure of where to go or what to do because there are carriers around, and that means you all die. They go into siege mode. They're going to die on their own terms. Thank you very much. Focusing down that science vessel. See, if you use all of the carriers to focus down something, they will kill it, but it is overkill. Right? And I understand that's how you have to micro, but I really feel like it would make more sense to have 4 of your carriers in one control group and 4 in another one, and you focus this one on this one and the other group on that one, and then you're focusing down 2 things at once instead of 1. You know what I'm saying? Ladies and gentlemen, Goliaths. Louder pronounces to the group. The Dragoons are fighting in here against the Goliaths. I don't think he recognizes it. Zealots coming around the top side there too and clearing out the rest of those tanks, and suddenly it's 143 to 122. Aren't you ashamed of yourself, says Idra. There's the rage. There it is, coming out of Idra. Oh man, this is so fantastic. This is what we're here for, isn't it? I believe it is. I can't believe that Idra doesn't know about that base, or he would have killed it, right? He would have killed it. Man, the Dragoons are such a great complement to these carriers. What are the upgrades on the carriers, by the way? +2 attack, +2 armor. Working on +3 attack, as you're gonna do. The funny thing is, stupid people actually think this is representative of skill. Woo! Harsh words there for G5, who's not responding, to his credit. Right? Responding to this just isn't really good. It's not a good thing for you at all. Idra's at 400 minerals right now, but he's up 186 to 145. But this carrier tech switch seems to have taken him entirely by surprise, or he's just not quite ready for it. I love that Greg never saw the top right. It's true. He never has seen the top right. Maybe he still can. This game is not over yet. But Louder left. Louder straight up like, well, that was fun. Bye. I don't know. I think Idra has a good chance here. He's up 20 supply. He's got a million Goliaths with 3-2. There aren't that many carriers. There's 7 of them. You can one-shot them with all these carriers if you do it right, or with all the Goliaths if you do it right. But the problem is, if G5 is keeping these on the high ground and keeping them away from the Goliaths so they can't get direct body shots, you're going to be right. Nice EMP on that Arbiter. Holy crap. Oh, see? That was one. That was one going down. Got a little bit too close to the Goliaths, and that's what happened. Tanks setting up in support. This base is in trouble right now. Never really bothered taking that left side base, did G5. But mined out here is Idra. Mined out here is Idra. Mined out here effectively is Idra. His economy is not healthy right now. He needs to win with what he has. But you know what? G5, he's got this base and this base, which I feel like is in a lot of trouble. All right, man. The carriers are fighting. A lot of interceptors getting killed, building 7 at a time right now because that's how many interceptors keep dying. Cloaked, protecting this source of income, really, really important right now. I guess Idra has this base along the left side. Did I not count that one? I did not count that one, but it's there. It's there regardless. Making more carriers, more tanks, more Goliaths in production here for Idra. We're doing a very, very cautious dance right now. Does Idra just want to come up this ramp? I feel like he might just want to come up this ramp. He's sieging too soon. There's nothing to attack here. You attack either in a defensive position, you siege in a defensive position, or an attacking position. You don't siege when there's nothing for your tanks to do. Especially in the middle of the map like this. Unsiege them. Go, go, go. Go, 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 go. And yeah, interceptor count cannot be healthy right now. I'm watching them explode pretty effectively. They're taking down Goliaths. They're taking out tanks with them, but they're also dying in the process. Wish you could see how many kills these guys had, but unfortunately the building animation takes precedence over that, and Idra decides to pull on back. You can't take that base down, I guess. That is so much important mineral income right now for G5. Again, interceptors are not cheap. Well, they are cheap, but they're not free, and you have to replace them pretty consistently. And it just adds up. It adds up over time. In a game where the map is mined out and you have carriers, you're dead. Because you need constant income to replace those interceptors. That's how they balanced it, right? Interceptors are good. They have great range. They can fly. Nothing on the ground can hit them. To balance it, you have to pay for the interceptors and replace the ones that die. I think it's a good... Honestly, a pretty good unit design there by Blizzard. But this high ground position is just perfect out of G5. There's really nothing doing here for Idra unless he just comes up the ramp. But everybody knows Goliath pathing is derpy, and they'd have a hard time getting up that fairly narrow ramp there. Trying to take down that Arbiter. Arbiter not happy with 29 hit points. Oh, he blocks off the attack path by stasising those tanks. That's incredible stuff. That is incredible stuff here. This army, they're not even doing anything for G5. It's just the carriers holding this off right now. I guess if he wipes out enough of these tanks, as he does seem to be focusing them down, but again, losing a ton of interceptors in the process, that stasis lasts forever. Forever and ever and ever and ever and ever. Eventually, it will wear off, but... Hoobadoobadoobada. Once again, carriers fighting Goliaths here. I feel like we've been watching this battle for the last 15 minutes. Seems possible. Seems possible that we have. A carrier does go down. I heard that. I heard one of them die. Look at these Goliaths derping on that ramp there. They don't know what to do. They're Storm pushing them back. They're Goliaths pushing them back. Tank can actually hit that from over there. That is just such a nice benefit to those tanks. Storm, Storm, Storm. G5 playing really, really well here. Idra not really making much of a concerted effort to focus on the bodies of these carriers. Look, another high ground position here. More Goliaths trying to dart down from the top side, but coming on in here comes G5. He's got Zealots, he's got Dragoons, he's attacking with everything right now. The carriers cannot be attacked directly because they're busy dealing with the Dragoons and the Zealots. Great stasis on a couple of those, trying to kite back with the Goliaths in a straight-up engagement. It's not going to be a good time for anybody. Greg is so mad right now. In Control is calling that. Yeah, he's losing this base along the right side. Asem finally says something. I think this is the first time in the whole game. Losing a ton of SCVs. Ugh. Base along the right side is going to die. We're going to come glide with Planet Greg in moments, says In Control. 193 to 123 supply. Perhaps a last gasp here out of Idra. He's got his tanks. He's got his Goliaths. He's meching it. This base is getting wiped out by vultures. So, I mean, income for G5 is still this one base. Not very healthy. That was a nice sneak in there by Idra to make that happen. But in the long run of things, it's one base to one base, 186 to 127. Idra's making tanks still. It's not really been able to deal with the carriers. 13 kills on that guy. 7 kills on that one. 7 kills on that one. And here we go. It looks like our final battle. Attacking on in. Zealots on top of the tanks. Dragoons focusing on the tanks here too. The Goliaths are not actually targeting the bodies of the carriers as much as they would want to be, but it's because they're backed up. Not quite in range there. 179, 183 to 93 supply. And that's it. Idra is in full retreat. Do you actually feel good about winning games like this? I can't imagine you do. And Idra has left the game. As the music appropriately fades out there. Wow. All right, man. I mean, that was just good carrier control. It was G5 expanding a whole bunch, really dealing with the attacks from Idra fairly effectively there, replacing bases when they died, getting up to carrier eventually, and just making sure the carriers were killing stuff and hard to take down. I wish I could see how many carriers died in this game. I feel like maybe it was 3. It wasn't that many. He really kept them in places where the Goliaths couldn't hit them directly for a lot of the time. Idra, I think, also struggled doing it even times he could hit them directly. He wasn't able to do it because, again, there were Zealots and Dragoons running interference in here. But 3-3 on the Zealots. Never got that 3rd upgrade. I don't think Idra ever did. Let's do a quick check there. That is such a fun way to watch a game. So, no, never got that 3rd upgrade. Interestingly enough, never had that +3 armor, but yeah, good back and forth. I think every base on the map got taken, which is always fun. I am forever entertained that this base never got discovered by Idra. That's fantastic stuff for sure. Really fun to watch. But yeah, good push down the left side here by Idra. Really did some work there. Wiped out this base once, wiped out this base once too. But once the carriers came out, he just didn't have an answer for them. And I know, I'm going to see in chat or in the comments, you guys are going to say, get packs of Wraiths to chase them down. And I guess I feel like there's got to be a reason we don't see it as much. You know, if it was something to do, maybe it wasn't the meta yet. Maybe nobody had ever really had it occur to them. But people have also said Valkyries with their splash damage versus those interceptors would be pretty fantastic. But Goliath tank is generally, we see how this is attempted. And G5 just was able to overcome it. So great job by him getting the win here today. And let's check out that final score. 240,000 to 267,000. G5 has the lead. Units lost here. Actually, 442 lost for G5 to 350 for Idra. So he did a better job keeping his stuff alive and also killing more stuff too. So overall, I think he won this. Although this right here, G5 produced way more units, but Zealots and Dragoons are cheaper than tanks and Goliaths and whatnot. Buildings raised at 24 to 16 in favor of Idra once again. But look at this. Gas mined, Idra has a little bit of a lead there, but man, minerals mined 46,000 to 59,000 for G5. Total spent 64,000 for Idra, 79,000 for G5. Just out-macroed him. Out-macroed the Terran, went to carriers, made it happen, used them intelligently, and got the win. Great job indeed. We got some Idra rage. All in all, a pretty fantastic display of StarCraft Brood War out of G5. And I think he might have redeemed himself a little bit. All right, cool. Well, that's going to be it from me. This has been Falcon Paladin coming at you with yet another edition of StarCraft Brood War Remastered. Go ahead and hit that like button. Hit that subscribe if you like what you saw and what you heard today. You can also catch me on Twitter, Facebook, Patreon, and Twitch, all at /Falcon Paladin. And until next time, as always, thank you so much for watching, and you take care of yourself.